helper, a parent, a sibling, a friend. Perhaps that person was even now stumbling about, calling for her, anxious to locate her and make sure that she was all right. But she could hear no voices carried upon the howling wind. Only the turbulence of sand particles, hurtled about by forces beyond their control. And when she expanded the sphere of clear air around her, she uncovered nothing but sand, and more sand. She buried her face in her hands for a moment, then took a deep breath and stood up. She meant to start on her clothes, but as she came to her feet, it became obvious that she had something in her right boot. Her heart somersaulted when she realized it was a wand. Ever since mages realized that wands were but conduits of a mage's power, amplifiers that were not strictly necessary to the execution of spells, wands had turned from revered tools to beloved accessories, always personalized, and sometimes to a silly degree. Names were woven into the design, favorite spells, insignia of one's city or school. Some wands even had their owner's entire genealogy engraved in microscopic letters. She would dearly love to see her family history laid out before her, but it would be more than good enough if the wand had an "in case of loss, return to" inscribed somewhere. The wand, however, was as plain as a floor plank, without any carvings, inlays, or decorative motifs. And it remained just as bare when examined under a magnifying spell. She had no idea such wands were even made. An oppressive weight settled over her chest. Loving parents would no more give a child such a wand than they would send her to school in garments made of paper. Was she an orphan, then? Someone who had been discarded at birth and brought up in an institution? Elemental magelings did suffer from a higher rate of abandonment, since they were so much trouble in their infancy. Yet the clothes she wore, a knee-length blue tunic and a white under-tunic, were of exceptionally fine fabric. Weightless yet strong, with an understated gleam. And though her face and hands felt the heat of the desert, wherever she was covered by the tunics, she was perfectly comfortable. The tunics did not have pockets. The trousers underneath, however, did, and one of those pockets yielded a small, rectangular, and somewhat crumpled card. A. G. Fairfax. Low Creek Ranch, Wyoming Territory. She had to blink twice to make sure she was reading correctly. Wyoming Territory? As in the American West, the non-mage portion of the American West. She tried several different unmasking spells, but the card provided no hidden messages. Expelling a slow breath, she put the card back in her trouser pocket. She had thought all she needed was a name, the tiniest of clues. But now she had a name and a clue, and it was worse than if she'd had no insight at all. Instead of staring at a blank wall, she was looking at a single square inch of tantalizing colour and texture, with the rest of the mural, the people, places and choices that had made her who she was, remaining firmly out of view. Without meaning to, she slashed her wand through the air, all but growling. The swirling sand retreated further. She sucked in a breath. 8 feet from where she stood, a canvas tote lay half buried in the sand. She launched herself at the bag, yanking it out of the sand. The strap was broken, but the bag itself was undamaged. It was not terribly big, about 20 inches wide, 12 inches high, and 8 inches deep, nor was it terribly heavy, 15 pounds or thereabouts. But it was quite remarkable in the number of pockets it had. At least 12 on the outside, and scores upon scores inside. She unbuckled a large outside pocket.